Check out these statistics that are happening all because of student loans. Over 20% of young adults are delaying getting married. Over 30% are delaying moving out of their parents' homes. 40% are delaying saving for their retirement, and almost half are delaying buying their first home. In today's True Story Budget, we have a young married couple, Amanda and Andrew. You guessed it, they both have current student loan debt with more on the way. They live with Amanda's mom and keep their money separate. Not from mom, from each other. Oh, there's more. Let's see what we have going on here. Okay, and let's start with the email that Amanda initially sent in to me. She titled it Low Income Big Dreams. And I'm going to paraphrase in this email. She basically is letting me know that she is 27 years old. She lives in California. She is a grad student. She works part-time at the school district. And what she's doing is she is trying to complete her school psychology internship hours, which means that she's doing that for free. And then she works at the after-school program to earn a little bit of income. Then she goes on to say here that she's gotten pretty good at budgeting her paycheck to get her through the months. However, it is hard when the income disappears quickly and there is little left for savings like retirement. And here she also lets me know that she does not know the total amount that she's going to have to pay back for her student loans. She would like to complete school by July 2025 and hopefully have a school psychologist job by August of 2025. Now here's where she tells us a little bit about her husband, Andrew. He is 28. He works full-time as an EMT. He also goes to school so that he can become a paramedic. When it comes to budgeting, he does that in his head. I love that. His debt is a truck payment, a school loan, and some credit cards. His income is considerably more, but the truck payment and the school loan are eating a majority of it. He is contributing to his retirement. And then here she lets me know as a couple, they keep their money separate. They do have a joint checking and savings that they would like to transfer to once they purchase a home together. We live with my mother, so we do not have rent or mortgage payment. She is grateful that her mother is helping them out. Andrew wants a place of their own before they start trying for kids. And Amanda does not want to rely on her mother for everything. When it comes to bills, he pays the majority of them. She pays for groceries and some other things for the home. They do have Hulu, live TV. She likes the Disney Plus. Lets me know about a couple other small bills that we will get into. And she ends it by just saying, we have some big goals. We've got debt. She feels like her income is impacting them from saving, and then in turn making them feel like they cannot afford anything in California. Okay, so they both filled out the financial snapshot for me since their money is separate, and we're gonna really quickly look both of them over. We're gonna start with Amanda. And we pretty much know all of this about Amanda from her initial email. She does have $1,000 of an emergency savings and a high interest account. That is very good. Then down here, her number one focus is savings and sinking funds. And here's what she says are her top 3 concerns relating to that. Number 1, I am concerned I will become highly dependent on family. Number 2, I am concerned that I will not be able to afford daily essentials. And number 3, I am concerned that I will not have enough for retirement. Okay, next is her income. She gets paid once a month, and we've got $650 for the month of November and $850 for the month of December. I did double check with her, and those amounts are still accurate. The bill that she contributes to in the house is the internet for $120 a month. She is also responsible for covering the groceries, $300 to $350. Her own gas is $120 a month, and she has $20 written for essentials. The only debt that Amanda has is her school loan, $13,442, 7.5% interest, no monthly payments. Okay, so this page from Amanda's financial snapshot and from Andrew's financial snapshot are the most interesting pages in the packet. Let's see what we've got here. Her savings goals. Saving for a bigger home. Goal amount, $15,000. Saved so far, $7,989. Saving for future kids. She's got $566 saved up. Increase investment, saved so far, she's got $822. I'm assuming this is some sort of retirement account. Then down here, she's got some sinking funds. And as you can see, saved so far, she's got substantial amounts saved up here. Emergency fund, she has $1,000. Car maintenance, $283. Medical, $185. That house up at the top, $79.89. Here is a vacation. And she had these numbers swapped. She wants to save $6,500. She's got $48.75 saved up for a future vacation. School loan, she saved up $187. Future kids, $566, and that retirement investment, $822. So let's go over Andrew's packet really quickly. What he would like to focus on is debt repayment, and his top 3 concerns are, I am concerned that my savings will not grow. Number 2, I am concerned that the debt will increase once I get it almost paid off. And number 3, I am concerned that my wife and I will not be able to afford a home. Okay, and Andrew's income, he gets paid bi-weekly, and here he has October's amounts, but I did catch up with them and they gave me November and December's, so we'll get to that. His bills and expenses, he has car insurance at $342. That is for both of their vehicles. The phone bill is $60. The Hulu is $95, and he has a truck payment of $515 that he splits in between each paycheck. His variable expenses, he's got a BS fund for $100. His gas is $250 a month. He pays this off at the end of every statement. Amazon, he spends between $50 to $100. Eating out, he also spends between $50 and $100. And his debt overview, he's got a school loan here for $42.50. His truck payment, he has a MasterCard with a 0 interest, which is really good, but he does have almost $5,000 on that card, and this is that gas card that he uses. These two, I'm assuming he just has them, but he's not using them, which is really, really good. I like to see this. Good job, Andrew. All right, and let's go to his top savings goals and his sinking funds. House down payment. He has saved $14,193 so far for that house down payment. He would like some money in savings, he'd like some vacation money, and then he's got some other things over here that he would like to see in the future: car maintenance, medical, home remodeling, and a computer. So I had a few questions after looking over these 2 things. Now let's look at my questions, because you may be wondering some of the same things, and let's see what they responded with. And here is where I asked them a few more questions. Number 1, why are your finances separate? Their answer is, we have a joint account which is used for emergencies, and we just haven't moved our checks to the joint account yet. We want to use the joint account for bills when we get a house. Okay, my next question was, between the 2 of you, do you have $14,000 Andrew and $15,000 Amanda saved up? And Andrew says yes, it is in a high yield savings account, and I refuse to touch it unless the time comes to buy a home. Okay, and some other important things to note is, I asked Amanda here about her student loan total, and here she let me know that her estimate, ballpark, her student loans are going to end up in the $40,000 range. She is currently up to $20,000. When she first emailed me, she was at $14,000. Also want to let you guys know, she does have a car and it is completely paid off, so that's great news. Now what I want to look at again with you guys are their top 3 concerns. In every true story budget video that I do, I let you guys know that these are really a window into what is going on, and it helps me to kind of see what someone might be thinking a little more. So let's read Andrew's. Concerned that his savings will not grow, concerned that the debt will increase once he gets it almost paid off, and he's concerned that they will not be able to afford a home. And again, he marked off that debt repayment as his top focus. Now, men see money as their value indicator. This debt is looming over him, and he's worried. Now let's read Amanda's again. Concerned that she will be highly dependent on family, concerned she will not be able to afford daily essentials, concerned that she will not have enough for retirement, which makes sense why she checked off the savings and the sinking funds. Women see money as security. Amanda wants to have her own money and not feel dependent on anyone, and this makes total sense. Both of them. Okay, so when I looked at this over and over and over again, I just couldn't get past the $30,000 in savings that they have between the two of them and the fact that they split their money. I feel like it would just make things simpler for them if they combined their finances, especially when they're just starting out and they're trying to get off the ground. Combining the incomes can also add a sense of stability and security, especially when one makes substantially less than the other. I don't know exactly how Amanda feels about Andrew spending roughly $300 a month on things like a BS fund and eating out, while her student loans are continuing to accrue interest. But I do know that for me, that would be a conversation that I would be having with my husband. Communication is key, and having that open and honest conversation about their goals, current priorities, and spending habits would probably help a lot. They do mention that they plan on combining incomes at some point. What is it that they're waiting on? Oh, yeah, that's right. They mention it multiple times when they buy a house, a house, a house, which left me wondering, could there be a deeper issue going on here? Does Andrew not want to take on Amanda's student loans since they are so much higher than his own? Does Amanda subconsciously not want to leave the nest because she already feels this about Andrew and is afraid to leave one situation where she already feels dependent to go into another where she'll feel even more dependent? Bonus, with the added feeling of him not wanting her to depend on him? Maybe, maybe not. I have other theories as well, and we'll get to those as we move on. So as we know, these two have managed to save up a substantial amount of money, and they are sitting on it with categories attached to it. We have a future home, future kids, retirement, a vacation. While I like that they are thinking about and saving for their future, there is a saying: living in the past will make you depressed. Living in the future will make you anxious, but you will be at peace if you are living in the moment. Now, I don't know about you, but I do see a lot of anxiousness from both of them when they speak about their futures. Little left for savings, like retirement. If everything lines up perfectly, we will use the joint account when we get a house. I refuse to touch it until we get a house. Hopefully, I can do summer school. Hopefully, I will know August of next year. Now, this is my translation of what they may be thinking. We're going to hold on to all of our savings because when we're both done with school, we will then have higher incomes. Then we can use our saved up money for the down payment on a house. And by then, our higher paying jobs will pay off our student loans faster. Well, actually, I know that this is Amanda's thought process because in one of her emails back to me, she tells me that she is actually taking on an extra course every term in order to graduate faster so that she can get the higher income faster. Okay, so is it wrong to think that? Of course not. However, my concern is that they are overlooking what is happening right now. These student loans of Amanda's are accruing interest every single day, and the total is going to be higher by the time she graduates. 40,000 is what she's estimating. Andrew's truck is going to be costing them a little over $3,000 in interest by the time he has it completely paid off. Andrew also has around $5,000 on a credit card. It does say that it's 0% interest now, which is great, but it's still owed, and that 0% can't possibly be forever. The bottom line is that debt is a product. The banks are making money off of all of our loans, all of them. Like I say all the time, this is not show friends, this is show business. 0% interest, no payments until you graduate, paying biweekly payments on your truck. It sounds good, but you're still in debt and you're still throwing your hard-earned money away on interest.
We go to school and they give us a free pizza, so we sign up for our first credit card.
Now, when I hear this, I think of couples like Amanda and Andrew. You'll never amount to anything unless you go to college. You need to go to college so that you can get a good job. That's what I remember hearing when I was in school, and it definitely has gotten way worse. Just think of how much money is involved with student debt. 1.7 trillion, I think, is going on right now. 1.7 trillion. Show business. I actually heard a formula that people should stick to in regards to student loan debt. And I really like this one. It is, do not take any more student loan debt overall, your total amount, than what your first year on the job is going to pay you net. So what that means is if you have $100,000 of student loan debt when you graduate, your first year of salary should also be $100,000. I think that Amanda and Andrew actually did very well with this. So that's very good news. I know people that owe over 6 figures of student loan debt. They aren't even working in the field that their degree is in and aren't making anywhere near that amount annually. I'm sure that you know people like this too. It is just way too common. Now, if you are one of those people, I have some things coming up for you guys on the channel. You can pay it off and I will help you. And my shoppers, my overspenders, my newly divorced, my up-and-coming retirees. I have all kinds of new info to share with you guys coming up in 2025. So you should subscribe if you haven't yet, and you got to hit the bell too so that when I post a new video, you'll know about it. Okay, so let's get to what I would like for Amanda and Andrew to start thinking about and to start talking about. And all of these things that I'm about to say, I would say to my own kids. I have 4. 32, 28, 25, and 21. I would not steer you wrong. And I'm not telling you what to do. These are just ideas for you guys to talk about, maybe make some adjustments. Some of them you might love completely and just start making straight up changes. So my advice is this, and it's coming from a plan, a proven plan that has been around longer than Amanda and Andrew have been alive, and that is Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps. And this plan has helped millions of people get their finances on track, their lives turned around, including myself and my husband, which is why I believe in it as much as I do. I know it works. So step number 1 of the 7 baby steps is to have $1,000 saved up in an emergency fund. And as we know, Amanda and Andrew definitely have that checked off their list. Baby step 2 is to pay off all debt except for your mortgage. And this would be the step that Amanda and Andrew are on. And this is where what I'm about to say is probably not what they want to hear. Yep, you guessed it. Combine your $30,000 in savings and pay off as much of your debt as you can right now. I feel like you are both very concerned about the debt, and you know why? Because you refuse to pay it. You know it's there lurking over you, and you're trying to ignore it. Instead, you're currently allowing interest to build up on Amanda's loans while the overall balance is also continuing to grow, which is actually hurting both of you in the long run, not just Amanda. We're paying almost 5% interest on a truck that you have the money to pay off right now, holding on to a zero interest card with a balance of $5,000 on it instead of just paying it off, and paying the employer for the $3,000 owed in payments instead of just paying it off completely. People tend to underestimate their feelings and their emotions when in reality, emotions are what is driving us in every aspect of our lives, and emotions are what dictates our behaviors. I mean, think about it, right? If you're sad, how do you act? You move slower, you talk slower, you probably want to be left alone. If you're excited, you're bouncy, you're more active, you want to share your excitement with other people. If you are in debt and think that you always will be, then what's the point of paying it off, right? And Andrew tells us that he feels this way when he said, I am concerned that the debt will increase once I get it almost paid off. So, where's his motivation to even bother paying it off? And Amanda said, my income is impacting and keeping us from saving. So, what does she do? She is going to hold on to every bit of their money so she can feel like they are saving. The safety feeling that they have with the money in the bank is what's holding them back from ripping off the band aid and making the payments. Notice I said feeling. The money that they have saved up isn't really theirs, and more debt is coming. Andrew has some upcoming expenses from his school, and so does Amanda. So the loans are coming for your savings no matter what. And this is where you have to decide whether you want to get ahead of it while you can, or do you want to just keep making the minimum payments and know that the interest is eating up anything that you think you are saving today. The savings for future kids, a house, and a vacation, it sounds great, but is it realistic? I think that the romanticizing of going on a vacation because you guys got through school isn't going to feel the way that you think it's going to make you feel. I watched a story recently that was on two newlyweds, and what they had done was they went on this honeymoon to Italy. They thought that it was going to be this great vacation that the two of them deserved. And the problem was they had so much debt built up over time from the wedding and, of course, now the honeymoon. They ended up not being able to even enjoy being there. They tell the story of one morning they went to a cafe to just get some coffee, some cappuccino, and the prices obviously were a little elevated. They were in a touristy section of the town, and they couldn't even enjoy their morning coffee because they knew that it was expensive. They were paying interest on it. And when they got back home, they were going to be back to reality and having to pay off all of the debt from their wedding and the honeymoon that they were on. This young couple had essentially spent money that they didn't have yet. And my dad used to call this pulling the cart before the horse. And I never really knew what that was or what it meant until I caught myself doing it many, many times. The last time obviously sticks with me the most. I had around $10,000 of debt between two 0% credit cards. And I had the cash in the bank to pay them both off. But I liked that fake security of having the money in my account, not theirs. And when I asked Amanda if her student loans were on pause, accruing interest, just to give me a little more information about what was going on with them, her response was, the loan mentions that I do not have to start making payments until after I graduate, even though I know that I can make payments towards the loan. So yeah, that's that same fake security that I had. I don't have to pay it right now, so I just won't. Ooh, some of you are feeling called out right now. If you have debt any debt, but you have the means to pay it off, you're liking your fake security too. And I didn't think it mattered either until I decided to give up the charade. Once I actually paid off those last two debts that I had been justifying, it's 0%. So what's the difference, right? Remember how I said we underestimate our feelings? When I paid those off, I cannot explain the feeling of knowing in that moment that I did not owe anyone anything. I was completely and truly debt free. I didn't think that it would, but it truly did feel better than just holding on to that money that I knew deep down wasn't really mine. No, no one wants to pay debt, but it is the deal that you agreed to when you spent the money that they gave you. What is really great though is that you can decide now to not borrow any more until you're ready to buy your home. Then those house payments can be doubled or even tripled because your biggest asset, your income, will be yours this time around. You guys know what Dave Ramsey always says. You know what you have when you don't have any payments? Money. And I can say that is very, very true. So we're going to come back to the debt payoff plan that I've come up with for Andrew and Amanda. So really quick, I'm going to go over a couple other things. Andrew, your truck, pay that thing off and keep it until it dies. Amanda, same thing. Good job on having a paid off vehicle. Run it until it dies. Amanda, your essentials and your groceries. Let's add a little bit to the essentials and say $60 for the two of you. And that might still not be quite enough, but you guys can start tracking your spending and then you'll know what to budget for your toiletries and your household expenses. The $350 for your groceries, we'll stick with that amount. And I would actually use cash envelopes to make sure that you're staying on budget within those categories. And to help you do that, I am actually going to be sending you one of my absolute favorite Bella Taylor cash wallets. I noticed that all of the categories are what I call on the go categories. So I think that you are going to love having this. Side note, deals and steals are going on right now with my partners, Jenn and Rich over at Bella Taylor. They are actually giving us early access to all of their Black Friday deals. And these are the biggest deals that they have ever rolled out. I'm going to link everything below for you guys, so definitely check that out. All of their items are of top quality and will last you a very long time. And speaking of that on the go spending, Andrew has been spending around $300 a month for the BS fund, some Amazon stuff, maybe some eating out. So I'd like to ask Andrew, would you consider cutting down the $300 a month and maybe go to $150, commit to spending half and maybe add another cash envelope? And maybe you could try doing what I did. I just made everything I wanted harder to get. Instead of just clicking on Amazon and buying what I thought I needed, I would make myself get in my car and drive to Walmart or whatever store had the item and get it myself. I suddenly decided that I didn't need a lot of things. And obviously, just try eating out less. I'm sure you have a fully functioning kitchen to make your breakfast and lunch. And I say this because you guys would not believe how many emails I receive from people that actually do not have an appropriate place to store their food or make their food, leaving them no choice but to go to the grocery store almost every single day in order to save money. If they can do it, you can do it. Next up is the car insurance. I have a feeling that could probably be lowered. Over $4,000 a year seems very excessive to me, especially when one of your vehicles is completely paid off and neither of you have tickets or accidents on your record. Definitely check on that. And I suggest AAA car insurance. When I lived in California, they were the cheapest that I could find. And Andrew, matching your 401k. Dave Ramsey does recommend pausing all investing while you are trying to get out of debt, just temporarily pausing it. As soon as your truck is paid off, that's when you would begin doing that again. Hulu. Okay, I get that you guys like it, but I'd probably like getting an extra $100 back into my pocket a little bit more. I know that Andrew likes having the local channels. We do too, so I totally get that. You would be surprised. Think Tubi or Pluto actually had our local station. We had the Sacramento channel on that app. So make sure you check because they might have it for free. And I also know that Amanda likes watching Disney Plus. I mentioned this in my last True Story budget. Get a DVD player and start collecting the movies. Digital media is always yours and you pay for it one time. People are just really getting tired of paying for the same things over and over on these apps. Okay, now let's talk about the debt. We are going to follow the snowball method on getting this debt paid down, which means we start with the smallest debt and we work our way up to the largest debt. And here is Amanda and Andrew's debt listed from smallest to largest. As you can see, this is not bad at all. Now, these little amounts that have the question marks beside them that aren't quite here yet, but Andrew knows that they are coming, I would still put aside those amounts and vow to pay those as they become due. I would not recommend this to just anyone, but I can safely say that I do not think either of them have a spending issue. They are in their later 20s. Amanda has no credit card debt, which is amazing, and girlfriend should be extremely proud of herself. And Andrew just has one 0% card and his truck. And they obviously have the willpower to save and not spend it. You guys are definitely trustworthy to set aside this money. Please make that pact with yourselves that as those come in, the money and the savings will pay them in full, no payments. And once these are paid, the savings is going to build back up much faster. And this time around, the money will be yours. And that is what Andrew wants, right? He wants to keep his money, not give it to more debt, and I don't blame him. And the house. I know that you are really wanting to purchase a home, and I completely understand that. I just hope that you can wait until it makes financial sense for you to really take that step and not do it just because society is telling you that that's the next thing you're supposed to do. Plan it out and take your time. Renting first isn't that bad. Sometimes it actually makes more financial sense, so don't rule it out. And Amanda, you had mentioned that your mom is okay with you guys living at home and wants you to continue to do so until you're ready to take that leap of moving out. If all of you are coexisting in your space and you get along really well, everyone's respecting privacy and boundaries, I personally think that living in a multi-generation household is such a great idea. You can all continue to support each other through challenges, creating that built-in support system. And with our current high cost of living, this is becoming a lot more common. And I feel like the longer you can continue, the better it can be for everyone. So I do have your budgets and your monthly calendars all set up for you, what debt I think you should pay and in what order. And I will email all of that to you. As I said, you guys can continue to split your money, put it together, or find your own hybrid method that works for the two of you. I'm going to send Amanda the budget pack and the paycheck routine for Andrew to use. You guys can sit and plan your budgets together, even if you continue to keep your finances separate. It's still a good way to have a meeting of the minds and still be making those important decisions together. And the last thing that I will be sending you guys is a gift card so that you can take Financial Peace University. You are both doing so well, and I hope that you're proud of how far you've already come. You both are almost done with your schooling, and your lives are just beginning. I wish you well with your future family. and home that you will create side by side. Keep communication open between the two of you and don't stress about things you cannot control. Focus on what it is you want next and get it done. Viewers, if you would, comment some words of encouragement and maybe even some advice for Amanda and Andrew. And don't forget to thank them for sharing their true story budget with us so that we can learn from them and not feel alone in our own struggles. If you like this video, make sure to like it so others will see it too. And I know you're already subscribed, right? Right. Okay, in the meantime, in case you missed it, here is my latest video on how to use this packet and get yourself 1 month ahead on all of your bills so you can chill out. Click here to check it out.